You have got to join us on this huge food tour of the city of Ipoh in Malaysia today. Ipoh is well known for its incredible food, so you have got to see what we find on this massive food tour. I'm Thomas.
And I'm Sheena, and we're chasing a plate. We hope you're hungry. Let's eat. Our first stop on our Ipoh food tour is a place and a dish that a ton of our subscribers have told us we must eat when in Ipoh, and that is Nasi Ganja. Let's go and find out what this dish is all about. The stall is crazy busy. There's a huge line of people waiting out the front for takeaway. If you want to eat in, you just got to hover by a table and hope that someone leaves and then pounce. So we got a table and we've ordered a plate of Nasi Ganja. Let me talk you through what it's made up of. So we've got white rice, some cucumber, a dollop of what looks to be kelapa sambal or coconut sambal. There's half a salted egg there, and then this big piece of fried chicken which is covered in a red gravy. This looks so good. Now Nasi Ganja translates to mean weed rice. It's not because it actually has marijuana in it, it's because it is so addictive, so it's been nicknamed Nasi Ganja. But it is actually Nasi Kandar, which you can find all over Malaysia. It's basically rice and curries, an Indian Muslim dish. So let's just get in. I'm going to give the rice a mix up with that sauce. It's just been flooded with gravy, so banje, which means flooded, and then oh look, there's also some okra in there which I didn't see before. Let's just try a bit of that rice with that sauce. Wow, so much flavor, quite fiery. That sauce is quite spicy. Let's give a bit of the chicken a go. So I'm going to pull a bit of the chicken off. It's really tender. Wow, that just fell off the bone. And then I'm going to dip a bit of that coconut sambal in with it. Grab a bit of rice, a bit of cucumber, and take that as one mouthful. Alright, I can see why it's called Nasi Ganja. This is damn delicious. The chicken is perfectly cooked. It's really tender, a little bit crispy, and then it's sort of softened because of that sauce that's coated it. That coconut sambal, I'm just going to try a little bit by itself. It looks like it's got mint in it, I think. Oh, it's so savoury. That really adds a creaminess, a fieriness to this plate. I'm just going to go for one more bite, get a little bit of that salted egg. And see the yolk's quite grainy, so salted egg is basically just normally a duck egg that's been cooked in a brine solution or soaked in a brine solution. Let's get a little bit more of that chicken because that was so good. Rip that off, take a bit more, got to get some of that sambal in. Oh wow, this is so satisfying. That mix of flavors, you've got the crunch from the cucumber, that fiery creamy sambal, the chicken which just is so flavoursome, so tender, and then that salty hit of duck egg or salted egg. Oh, this is good.
Another thing you must eat when you're in Ipoh is curry mee, so curry noodles. Let's go and grab some of those. Check out this amazing looking curry mee. It has got a huge pile of mint leaves on top, some spring onions cut over it. There is char siu or barbecue pork in there. We have a whole lot of chicken. There's some chicken. We have got two types of noodles in here. There is, oh actually look at this. Ah, the spoon is full of, I think that's going to be lime juice. Wow, that's such a good idea. Yeah, that's lime in the spoon. So instead of having to squeeze your lime into your bowl of noodles, in turn getting it full of pips, it's just in the spoon. So I can just dump that into this broth, which is incredible looking. I mean, look at the broth. Let's get that lime in there. Let's give this a big mix up. Whoa, look at that. And what you can see here is a sambal on top. So it's a kalapa sambal or a coconut sambal, and then the broth underneath that. So the more runny broth and then the thicker sambal. Let's mix the whole thing up, and you can see we've got two types of noodles. So there's a rice noodle, which is this white one, this thicker one, and also a yellow noodle, which is the round, obviously more yellow colored noodle. Alright, let's try some of this broth, because that just is coating those noodles in the most spectacular way. Let's go. Oh, it's the perfect thickness, amazing curry flavor. It's so well rounded. I'm gonna grab another spoon, but I'm gonna grab a bunch of those mint leaves and just chuck them on top. Oh, yum! The mint gave it a real fresh little kick. The broth has an amazing spice. It's like a great level of spice. And then that's all well rounded because of the sambal and the broth going together. The creaminess is perfect. I think it's time to try some noodles. These are really hot. Let's see how we go. Ooh. Perfectly cooked. Absolutely perfect. He was dunking the noodles into the broth with some sprouts. So they were all cooked together, and it's just perfectly cooked. I've got a little bit of char siu here. Let's try that. Oh, beautiful little sweet flavor. I'm trying to find some chicken, but the pieces are quite little. Here's a big one. Oh, this is a good one. It's got some skin and some flesh. It's so juicy, that chicken. I'm just gonna have another big bite with just all of these noodles and see how it goes. This is so well rounded. You've got that beautiful curry flavor, creamy, just thick enough. The noodles are perfect. You've got the little freshness from the mint and then little crunchy bits from the spring onions, because they were fresh on top as well. So they're getting softer as I stir it up, but they have a crunch and a freshness going on. This is a great bowl of noodles. We've just finished up those curry noodles. What a great bowl of noodles. Don't forget to pop down below, hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and all the details of where we're eating today are in the description, so you too can find these places. Let's go find some more food.
Next up on our Ipoh food tour is Pier, a famous fragrant biscuit. Let's go and find out how they make these little beauties. We've come to shop 362, who make their biscuits the traditional way. So you can see behind me, the team are making the dough, they're rolling it out and then stuffing a malt and onion filling into that dough and then forming each biscuit. They're then taken out the back to bake.
They've let us come out into the kitchen and check out how they do it. So out the front we saw them prepping the biscuits, and out here they cook the biscuits in these huge round ovens. They're fired by coconut husks. So there's a huge bin of coconut husks down here. They put those into the bottom of these ovens. The one that's flaming behind me is getting ready for the next batch. And this guy over here has just pulled a batch off this oven. So he scrapes them all off the side, and now he's just cleaning them all up to get them all tidy for selling. The smell out here is incredible. The air is filled with smoke, but it's got that sort of biscuity, sweet baking smell as well. So you got coconut husk smoke and that biscuity smell all going on at once.
We've got a bag of these freshly baked Pier to try, and Ah, they smell so good. The fragrance, the aroma is just wafting out from that bag. And what's really cool is that the Hangkia biscuit makers here all seem to just be named by the number of their shop lot. So this is 362, there's also 187, 254. So come to 362 if you want to see how they're made the traditional way. So let's just take a bite of this biscuit. Wow! Whoa, that's so flaky. See inside there, it's just layers and layers of that pastry just flaking away. And you can tell actually by the shape of the biscuit that it's been made the traditional way, because it's sort of a little bit lopsided. So the biscuits were slapped onto the inside of the oven, and gravity has obviously pulled the filling down towards the bottom of the oven. So they're slightly lopsided. I didn't get any of that filling in that mouthful, so let's give it another go. Wow, that filling is a great mix of sweet and savoury from that onion. So it's just a malt filling with a hint of an onion flavour. It's quite sticky. And you can see that the pastry, it's just really the star of the show, because you can just see the layers there and it's so crisp and flaky. That is one delicious biscuit.
Next up, we're at a Kopi Tiam, or a traditional cafe for a drink that is very famous here in Ipoh, and that is EFO White Coffee. So we've got the coffee here. Now there's a few things that are very special about this coffee, but the main one is that the beans are roasted in margarine, so that when they're getting roasted they have margarine put all through the roaster to give them a very unique flavour. Let's try it and then I'll tell you about the few other interesting things about this drink. Oh, it's got a really bitter coffee flavour. Oh, that's good. I'm going to have a little bit more. There is a sort of a butteriness to it. It's very bitter. Kind of makes your tongue tingle, it's that bitter. But it's quite creamy as well. That is a great drink, and one you've got to have when you're in Ipoh. And it's called EFO White Coffee, not because the beans are white or anything like that. It just is literally the translation from Chinese. It used to be called just like Pak Coffee, but now it's, which is white coffee in English. So it's become the term for it. So only in Ipoh will you order white coffee. So you order a white coffee and this is what it is. A black coffee with those beans roasted in the margarine, condensed milk as the milk portion. I'm going to try a wee bit more. It's really good. That's really good. I'm glad it's not too late in the day, because I think that would keep me up. It's definitely got a good kick of coffee, and that bitterness is really interesting. Really, really tingly on the tongue. That's the coffee done, and that was really good. This Kopi Tiam has been serving that since 1937, so they've definitely perfected the art of making the Ipoh white coffee. It was really good.
Next up on our Ipoh food tour is tofu pho, or sweet tofu pudding, with Justin line waiting for our bowl.
嗰個而家攞定陣間攞？陣間嚟攞好嘅，我幫你記埋數先好冇？一共係4蚊。
Check out Wonki's wobbly bowl of bean curd. It is just silken perfection. I've ordered the bowl which has got a ginger sugar syrup. It's quite hot, but I'm just going to go for a slurp because it just looks too good. Wow, that just slips down the throat. It is so slippery, so silky. The ginger sugar syrup actually isn't that sweet. but it's just got a little faint hint or tingle of that ginger. And that bean curd is just heavenly. It is so silky, so wobbly. This is perfection in a bowl. I am so enjoying this bowl of dao fu fa. It's so delicate and you can see the lady scooping it out of that big pot so carefully because it's just, you know, the second you touch it, it just falls to bits. Oh, this is a must eat.
That was incredibly tasty. And one of the owners, Jack, took me into the kitchen and showed me how they make it. So he boils the soy milk for 15 to 20 minutes, then dumps it all into a big giant pot which has a whole lot of starch in the bottom, and then they just don't touch it. If they stir it, if they do anything to it, it won't work. They just have to step away and let it naturally set, and within 15 or 20 minutes the whole giant pot is set and ready to serve. It's really incredible, and he said that that's a really ancient way to do it. Modern people use gelatin, which makes it not quite so silky, but their one is incredibly wobbly and silky. Really good. Let's go find some more food though. Next up, another dish that's famous in Ipoh, Halge ayam. So we've got some poached chicken, but the star of the show are these bean sprouts. So the English name of this dish is bean sprout chicken. So the bean sprouts are just poached in some broth. They have a little bit of sauce on them. They have a whole lot of pepper that you can see here, and some spring onions. Then you've got the poached chicken, which was poached in some chicken broth. Has also some thickly cut spring onions all over the top, and that's also in like an oily sauce, which I think is soy sauce and some sesame oil. We have a little side of a light soy sauce with some chilies, and then we also have some kway teow noodles, which are a thick rice noodle, and they are swimming in a delicious looking chicken broth. So that is the 3 portions that make up this famous dish. And what makes it really famous is the bean sprouts. And everyone says the bean sprouts in Ipoh are better than any bean sprouts you'll find anywhere else. So I'm gonna try some of those first. I'll just give it a mix up to get all that pepper all over the dish and mix in those spring onions. Let's just try a few bean sprouts. They look really plump and juicy. Oh no, I dropped one. Wow. Oh wow. They're super crunchy still. I thought they were going to be softer from being quickly poached, but they're very crunchy. They're very juicy, like a burst of liquid when you bite into them. The pepper's really nice, but then the actual bean sprout, the flavor is very bitter, but also a bit sweet. Like they are a cut above. And you can see, look how plump they are. It's incredible. Let's try this with some chicken because they're damn good by themselves. Let's get a piece of chicken. So I'll get this big piece which has a bit of skin and then some beautiful white meat. We will grab some chili on top of there and some soy sauce, some bean sprouts on top. Let's try that spoonful. Wow. Wow. That is so good. The chicken has got quite a bit of texture to it still. It doesn't just fall apart. Those sprouts, wow, they add such a crunch, and the sweetness and the bitterness I talked about really works. And look at this sauce on the chicken. I'm going to try some of that by itself. It's got a bit of oil swimming on top. It's quite light in colour. Yeah, so when I ate the chicken I had a real salty flavour. So that must be mainly soy. A light, salty soy. Then with the sesame oil as well in there. So it's got the sort of the balance between those 2 sauces. This is so good. I haven't even tried this broth in the soup yet. Let's try some of that. Oh, that is really sweet chicken broth. It's got a tiny bit of oil on, so it's not oily in your mouth. It just really slips down your throat really easily without leaving an oil slick in your mouth. Wow, this is such a good combo. This crunch of the sprouts, the beautiful soft chicken, and then that soup. Amazing combo. You can see why this is famous.
And what makes these bean sprouts in Ipoh super special is that they say the minerals in the water that they grow in are really high quality. Like the minerals are really, really strong. And so the bean sprouts themselves just turn into these healthy, beautiful vegetables. Oh, they're sensational. This chicken though is also calling out my name. Look at these pieces of perfectly poached chicken. I'm just going to dip that in the sauce and give that a go. Alright. Wow. That is so juicy. But as Thomas said, it hasn't been overcooked, so it's not chewy. It's just on the point of perfection. So there's a ton of people here tonight. There are huge queues. And they've obviously poached some chickens prior to service, but it's so busy that they're having to poach chickens as they go. It's crazy. To go with it, we also had this kway teow soup, so the thin rice noodles and just a simple broth. Let's give them a slurp and see what they taste like. Just the perfect accompaniment. So slippery, just really simple. So really simple flavors, but everything is cooked so well. You can really taste the quality of the ingredients. This is such a good meal. Sangat sedap, or very delicious.
We've sadly just about finished this meal, but the thing that I am loving is the sauce that's on the chicken. It's got such a beautiful oiliness to it. I think it's got some shallot oil in there as well, so it's got this like tang from that. Then it's got saltiness. It is the most incredible sauce. I've got one more little bit just to eat by itself. Oh, it's so well rounded. This is an incredible meal. It's so good.
This was such a brilliant, delicious food hunting day in Ipoh. Remember to hit like on this video and hit that subscribe button because we are traveling all around Peninsular Malaysia and making a ton of food videos.
We also love to see what you guys are eating, so hashtag Chasing a Plate on Facebook and Instagram so we can check out what you guys are having. We hope you liked this one. We had an amazing day. Hit subscribe, hit like, and thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Jumpa lagi!